You may have noticed in the earlier video when we were in the Add Column tab in the ribbon and we were looking at conditional columns that there's this button called Column from Examples. And so that's what this video is about. I would like to show you how you use this button to add a column to a query where it's very similar to flash fill in Excel, where you type an example and it immediately populates and creates a column for you. Okay, so let's use the query sales 2019 to 2021. We're going to create a column, for example. So I'm actually going to select, first of all, a specific column. So I would like to select the sale 2021 column. This one here. Click this, column from examples, and choose from selection. We'll start with this one, from selection. Now what happens is you see this very faint example appear. And when I look at the sale for 2021, let me scroll over a little bit, I can see that it's 1935. Now 1935 falls between 1500 and 2000. So I type that and I press enter and look what it's done. Based on that example, it is now ascertained that 800 falls between 500 and 1000, 396 falls between 0 and 500, 936 falls between 500 and 1000. So I just go okay. And so I have created a range that these sales figures fall into based on creating a column from example. And I can rename this, so I can click this, press F2 and call it the 2021 ranges or bands. Maybe bands would be a better word, and enter. Okay, let's do that again, but for 2020. So we go to the column, 2020, here's the sales figure. I want to put these sales values into bands of 500, but you could type whatever you wanted to type. I go to the add column, I go to column for examples, I go from selection, so based on what I've got selected here. This little column comes up, I can see my sales figure here is, now, my sales figure here is actually 0. So I have to type 0 to 500 because that's what it falls into in terms of a band or a range. As soon as I press enter, it works out the others. So 7059 falls between 7,000 and 7,500, and 3216 is between 3,000 and 3,500. So I go okay. And so that column I could call F2 my 2020 bands. And these are like sales bands. And I would just drag that and put that to the left near my sale 2020 column. Yeah. If I was to do that again for sale 2019, click it, add column, column from examples, from selection. Here's my column. Can I see my value? There's my sale for 2019. It's even got a tick on it. And so I'll type that this is between 3,000 and 3,500. Enter. And that's just like Excel, flash fill. And okay. And if I then click that, press F2, this is my 2019 bands. And I can drag that to the left and drop it after my sale 2019 column. Yeah. So there's my bands that everything falls into. So that's an example of column from example. Now let me give you another example. Let's start by maybe going to the query called employees. In the employees query, you have a column called last name and a column called first name. And let's say I'd like to create a column that's called full name. And really what I want to see, and it's completely up to you how you want it to appear. But let's say for argument's sake, I want to see Davilo in capitals with a comma and then a space. And then I want to see that followed by Nancy. You can type it however you want it typed. But anyway, so what we do here is that we're going to go into add column, columns from examples, but this time we'll choose from all columns because it's a column that's based on more than one. So here's our new column. So now you just type what you want and how you want it. So I'm going to put my caps lock on. I'm going to type Davilo, and it must be spelt correctly or it won't get what you're after. Then I'll go comma, space, and then I'll type Nancy in the case I want it. So that's what I want there. Now, as soon as I press enter, boom, it's gone and given me all the last names in capitals. It's given me a comma and then their first names. If that is what I'm after, if it wasn't, I would simply go back up here and type something different. Maybe I wanted Nancy, comma, space, and then Davilo the other way around, you know, in capitals, and enter. So you just tell it what you want. But I'll go back and put Davilo in capitals and then Nancy. Oh, not like that. And enter. And when I'm happy, I go okay. And so I've created a column that has used more than one column, the first and the last, to create a new column called merged, which if I click merge and press F2, I can call that now full name and enter. And if I want that at the beginning, I can just drag it, or I could have used the move button on my home tab. But I'll drag it and I'll move it after employee ID. Maybe I should have used the move button. And drop it. Yep. And that's where I want it to show. I'm just going to go home. I'm going to go close and load, so it loads those changes through to Excel. And I just want to save the file to make sure I don't lose anything. So once that data is being brought through, it's just getting the data now. I'll save the changes. I'll go back to query in the ribbon and back to edit to get back to my Power Query editor. And that's just saved my columns from examples.